Bonjour mon bel internet et mes merveilleuses créatures de Blodula. Which is French for hi, how are you? So, look at this. I have finished this. I did do a lot of experimenting in here, so we'll go through everything step by step because I've used some clever techniques. But yeah, I went back and forth, so that's why I didn't record any of the sessions. At the end of the day, I spent like, I think 5 hours just trying to tweak all the tiny little things. And then there were a lot of shadows to take into account, so it looks more, I don't know, better with the background. I also had to modify the background a tiny bit, and we'll check that in a moment. So let's dig in. First of all, this, well, I didn't use the palette at all. So I've hidden it. Now, the over effects, this gives it, maybe I should lower this a bit more, maybe to 10%. Let's see. Maybe even less. Oh, wait, I didn't lower it. Okay, now it looks better. This basically adds the, what's it called? The film grain. So it pops up a little better. So without the film grain, with the film grain. Just a tiny bit of 3D-ish in there. I always love to have that. But I also added one to this background as well. So first, let me explain something. You will see that something happened here behind, and I'll go towards that in a moment. So this background originally, so first this is the grain, the film grain. So basically this is 50% gray on the color, and then I've added a soft light and obviously the effect with the film grain. So without it, with it. It's a very tiny change, but it's there and it helps a lot. So without it, and now look what happens if I remove this effect over here. This was our original image. So it was quite faded out, and yeah, I had a lot of issues with that. I also swap it from left to right, the orientation, because I wanted to do the glint more powerful on this side. I don't know, just looked much better. And I had some references with glass, and yeah, glass is quite freaking difficult to get right, especially the glint, the reflection. Well, it's not really a reflection what I did here, because I should have borrowed some of the colors from around it. But then I kind of thought, well, the space is quite far away, so obviously this greenish wouldn't really just reflect so much as... Because how does the reflection actually happen? If you put your finger close to a mirror, it's not the mirror that reflects, it's the light that bounces off your finger towards the mirror that you see. So you're basically seeing the reflection of the light. So the mirror doesn't captivate the reflection, it only bounces it back towards your eye. It's quite clever. And obviously the mirror is the most polished thing that reflects it the most clear, but you can see the bounce from any object around you, though depending on the texture and the surface. But more than that, it also depends how close objects are between them. So you will get stronger reflections based on the closest object that is near the hourglass. In this case, it would be the clouds and things like this. So I kind of wanted to go with this bright yellowish color, but I desaturated a lot, so the glints don't come out so strong. I didn't want to disorient the eye from the subject and what was behind. Now this is one of those cases where I centered my subject, because it kind of looks good in balance to the brightness and the darkness. So I really liked it in the center here. And the clouds are kind of balanced as well. And then I said, well, I need a bit more, I don't know, a darker value to pop up with the stars behind. So I did this, and I really liked it. Now basically I even forgot what the heck I did here. I think I've added a filter. Yeah, I think. Or did I do a blend? I think I did a blend rather. Yeah, an overlay with lower cut. Oh, anyway, I did something and it worked. And then the film grain, and that just pops it up so much better. Perfect. Now, what happens here? Well, remember when we did those super awesome effects? Well, I've did a zoom effect here. And initially, I wanted to do this zoom mask and kind of follow the red along, but then I realized, wait, I can do something even better. So here I've created, basically I'm using this, oh come on, show yourself. No, it's not this one, this one. I'm using this gray template that I have been using before. So this is the shape of our hourglass. So I've used this in a few places. And I've used this for the clipping mask for this one, behind background behind the hourglass. And then I've used it here again. Now, initially I've done two clipping masks because I applied two filters. The first filter is the matrix, which kind of lowers the color of the background. So let me show you guys. If I disable the canvas here, you will notice that this is a different shade here. It's much darker. And this only applies because of this background here. Now if I enable it back, we have this other effect here on the background with the zoom. So what happens here is that I apply a displacement map with the image, but in this case I reference the image from inside here because the image is already inside our clipping mask. So we can actually call for our image here directly our ID. So I just click the SVG element and it selects this, which is number 151, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So it's really cool because I don't have to reference an outside element or an outside image. So awesome possum with this. And this basically displaces our background based on the blue on the X and the green on the Y. So the green goes a bit down and the blue kind of shifts to the right. It's a bit difficult to get right, but through trial and error you can get there. Okay, so we've got that out of the way. Let's block it. Now let's go back to our canvas, which is our hourglass. Now in our hourglass, I don't remember, did I put anything in here? Oh yeah, I wanted to do something here, but I couldn't quite get right. This was the initial attempt to darken the background before I tried to apply the setting here. So it's kind of the same, but not really. So if I only enable this, well, you can't see it very well because I also have to apply this. but in this case it was too strong. So I kind of gave up on this one. So I only kept this one. Now this one gives a little bit of a blur, but that is to be expected because it kind of stretches the image and it's a raster image. So yeah, this will happen, but from a distance you will not notice it that strong. So it's okay. So I left it here just in case I might want to do something with it, but it is too strong, way too strong. So I've left it be. Now, over effects, this is the gray, the film grain, and inside here, well, inside here there's a lot of things happening. Now, remember our gold thing? I've did a glow effect over here, and I did a bit of a sparkle with an X, with a blink. I don't know, it kind of looks nice, it makes it look interesting. So I've left it there. Then this is our template, which we... Well, I should type template, not temporary. Okay, and then this is where the magic happens, inside the hourglass. So this is a clipping mask with our template. And here I've added a middle shadow to the center, and initially I wanted to leave it without a middle shadow, but because I really like how accentuated the colors are, but it kind of looks too strong, too fake to leave like that without, because we have to take into account how light lingers around certain areas. So this is a focal point, and definitely there will be a shadow casted from underneath here. I could have played with the shadow a bit more, such as give it a gradient and things like that, but I didn't want to leave too much of it in there, and I don't know, it feels okay. Sometimes simplifying things and not overdoing it kind of falls into the right place. Then we have the glint, and without the glint obviously we cannot see, well, let me remove this overglow. So without the glint we can kind of see how this looks. It looks basically like glass with everything inside, so it looks nice. But the glint really makes it pop up really nice. So I've put a lot of things in the glint. Let's see. We can't see anything basically. This is the image, that's why it shows like an X. So yeah, there's quite a lot of elements inside here. I could try to lock the glint and the middle shadow and the overglow. What else? Oh, this one. Yeah, so inside here we have all of these elements that I've accidentally made something silly in here. I've put everything in the right orangish by accident. So this column and everything, but I didn't want to take them out afterwards because I've got the effect just right. So I said, yeah, leave them there. And then of course we have all of our elements that overlap and things like that. I wanted to do them a bit more, I don't know, solid. But then I thought, well, this looks really nice, like a sandish thing. And I thought, well, you know how you get that chemical reaction when you take, I don't know the name of that substance, but there is a substance that when it's settled, it's kind of a uniform color, but when you shake it, it starts creating all of these colors. And then when it mixes back together, it goes to the uniform color again. So I thought, well, I should maybe look for a sandish color, this bright orangish, but here it's in the shadow. So this bright orangish, initially when it's settled, it has a uniform color, and then when it starts getting shaken, it starts dripping down the colors because it's changing the composition of the chemical composition. Then we get all of these interesting colors, and I really love this color experiment. And I went with gradients from various well, everything has its own freaking gradient, and some of them have linear gradients, some of them have radial gradients. It's complicated. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then the column here is quite interesting. Wait, it's not this one. This one is the bottom shadows. This one is the top shadows, which I forgot where they are. Oh, it's here. Okay. Bottom shadows refer to this part. And then we have everything inside here. I don't even know how to rename this. I'll just leave it as it is. But inside here there's everything. I think I've named the sand bottom, yeah, and then I've dragged some things in here, and then I've lost track where the column is, and I've just, well, actually we kind of realized that the column and the sand is in here, but then there are some extra shadows, so yeah, I just didn't want to bother too much. Maybe I can do something like this, group it like so it's easier to find out. Anyway, oh, actually no, it doesn't like that. Well, let's not mess it up too much, so you guys can have access to the file and play around. Okay, so yeah, everything looks nice, I suppose, and all the effects are based on my taste. I could have done it even more colorful, but I didn't want to overdo it, because then I would just spend hours and hours tweaking certain elements, and yeah, it's not worth it. So yeah, hope you really enjoyed this hourglass. I hope it looks wonky. And I hope to catch you guys in the next episode. Stay awesome. Bye.